Hello and welcome back to the channel, American Christian in the Philippines. Here today with my good friend, Pastor Andrew.
Welcome.
Today we thought we'd talk about something a little different. We're going to talk about, is Dumaguete a good place for expats? Okay, the question is Dumaguete a good place for expats? Yes.
Yes, it is. It's a great place for expats.
Yeah, but why is it a good place for expats? What's good about Dumaguete specifically, say, versus other parts of the Philippines? Do you have, what are your thoughts?
Well, I've lived here basically my whole time here. But I've been to a lot of other places and I've never found a place quite like Dumaguete.
In what way?
That just has a vibe it's neither too busy or too small. Although when I moved here, it's a very small place, and I liked it, but it was a little bit too small. But it's grown, and it hasn't grown out of control like a lot of places I've been to have, and it's not too big. I've been to Cebu and Davao, and they're quite big places, and I've also been to very small places that are just so small, and I think Dumaguete, one attraction is that Dumaguete does have a very good, nice culture about it.
Right.
And I just think it's a good place for families. There's a lot of families moving here.
Right. Well, let's start with that one, because I think that's, for me, having a family, that is one of the biggest attractions to living in Dumaguete. It is a great place for families.
It is.
And why is it a good place for families? Well, number one, it is a smaller city, so we don't have traffic congestion, pollution, air pollution over here and all that. There's a lot of really nice places to go that are close by, like resorts if you like to swim, or if you like going hiking in the mountains. Everything is just so close by and easy accessible. So as a family, there's just nice family activities you can do together and things you can do. And it's a relatively safe area over here, I would say, wouldn't you?
I would. And even within the city itself, there's things to do, the attractions, and there's malls, but it's not. You mentioned the traffic; it's not too congested. And not only the traffic. I think the places where you go are not, overcrowded. Like you might go into, say, malls in Cebu and they're overcrowded. So I think it's just right here.
Right. Some people that come to the Philippines, they might think it's a negative that there's a lot of expats, because there are a lot of expats in Dumaguete, and it seems to be a growing population. In fact, I think YouTube is a little guilty of increasing the population.
Well, let's get off YouTube right now.
No, I'm really serious. I've met so many expats in Dumaguete that came here because of YouTube.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because there's a lot of famous vloggers out here, and especially during the pandemic, many people were just had nothing to do, but they watched YouTube and were dreaming of places to go, and Dumaguete came up a lot. So it's on YouTube a lot. There's a lot of vloggers here, so a lot of people come here because of that.
Yeah, and I think even some in our own Bible group have been here, are here because of YouTube. Right,
but when they get here, it is what has been advertised and what people have said. People come in, and it really is a place that people seem to like. Now, what would you say to, I'm sure there's a lot of expats that are watching that would say, well, I don't want to go to Dumaguete because there's too many expats there. Is that a negative, to have too many expats?
I used to say it was a negative, but I don't think it is a negative. I think it does provide like a sense of a home as well.
Yeah.
A lot of expats go to Ground Zero just to hang out and see expats.
Right. Well, I think it is because a lot of the expats that come to Dumaguete, a lot of them are people that are actually looking to settle down, retire, maybe meet someone and start a real relationship with, maybe have a family. I think that's the reason a lot of expats come here.
Yeah.
You don't get so many expats that are looking to party and drink and just do all the bad things I used to do. This isn't a party town.
No, it's not.
This isn't. If you're coming to just have fun, I would not be choosing Dumaguete.
Right.
When I used to be living the different life that I was living, which was partying and drinking and womanizing and all that. You know, I used to mostly live in the big cities, and the expats I used to come across were just like me, doing the same thing, and they're just not in every case, but generally not the kind of people you want to be around, and definitely not the kind of people that come here, I don't think, and so I think we filter out a lot of those kind of people in this place. Yeah. Saying that there's still a portion of the population of expats here that aren't too friendly, should we say?
Right. Well, yeah, and I think, as you said, it filters out because they start to realize it's a family-oriented town, and people come and get used to their families. And on what we were talking about before, the expats going to ground zero, I think it's a good way to transition. Yeah. Because they get used to the place. At the same time, they get to hang out with other Americans. And then when they get more and more, they get used to it, and they start to spend more and more time with their families and the Filipino community. But at first, being able to hang out with Americans is great.
Yeah.
To get used to the place.
Well, and this is kind of what I was trying to explain later. I in the past would never have wanted to be around a bunch of expats. In fact, I liked it. The less expats, the better. Yeah. Because, you know, again, when you're out here and you want to be living the life, you want people to, you know, treat you special because oh, he's a foreigner, and treat him like a king or whatever. The less competition you've got, the less foreigners, the more special you are, the more you stand out. And I think a lot of foreigners actually come out here wanting to have that feeling, like they're a superstar, and you know, but what I found now is in this community is the type of expats that I've mostly come across here have been really good people, and people that I've actually made friends with. I mean, as I've mentioned on videos many times, we got our Bible group that we do at Ground Zero every Wednesday. 39 people last Wednesday, by the way, which was
growing,
which is just amazing. But I'm just I'm almost stunned about how many good, God-loving, I say Christians because we're meeting a lot of Christians, expats there are here.
I think it's a great place for Christians to come.
Yes.
I mean, you get the Bible group, you get good churches. There are really good churches here. Good English-speaking churches. There are a few. And it's just a way to clear your mind of all of the things that are going on in the West, in America and Europe and other places. Yeah. There's no wokeism here.
No.
Although you can see it's starting to come here a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, I've got a question for you on churches, because you know you talk about really good churches here. Okay, and I'm serious because I get questions, often get emails, sometimes comments that people will ask. You know, I'm a Christian and I want to find a really good English-speaking church. Now, of course, you have a church, it's English-speaking, but I mean, maybe you're not the right fit for some people. So, could you have like 3 churches you can name that are really good English-speaking churches? So, people that are watching, thinking of coming out here, that they could go check out. Okay. I mean, what churches do you recommend?
Calvary Chapel is a very good church, and I know the pastor, Pastor Joe.
I'm sorry, is that the one in Valencia?
Yes.
The new one, the big, huge place?
The new place.
Because is there other Calvary Chapels, or is it just this one you're referring to?
Well, they do have a branch downtown, in the downtown area, but their main church now is in this new building in Valencia.
Right, and it's huge.
It's huge. And I like the pastor. It's a very good teaching, very, very good teacher, verse by verse, which is also sort of how I do it. It may not be the most relational church if you're looking for a relational church to go to, but it's a very good church. I love the church, and we're good friends. I'm good friends with the pastor. There's another church, the Baptist Church. The pastor's American, so when he speaks, it's in English.
Where's that one?
That one is near St. Paul University as you go out of town. And that's a good church. I would also recommend that, especially if you are Baptist and you're looking for that kind of church.
Right. And what about Word International Ministries? What do you feel about that one?
Word International Ministries, I don't know. No, I'm just kidding.
That's Pastor Andrew's church.
That's my church, and I would love to have people join it, expats. We do speak in English. I even ask my associate pastors to speak in English.
Right.
And they use mix or sago, English with Visayan. Yeah. But it's mainly in English, and the worship songs are mainly in English as well.
Yeah, and I got Pastor Andrew's church is a great place for you want to feel the Holy Spirit, you want to feel that fellowship. You know, it's small, so we communicate with everybody. Everyone kind of knows everybody. That small town church feeling. It's really special place. And sometimes these bigger churches, you lose that intimacy as such that you have with each other and the fellowship. It's just sometimes it's too big and you don't really get to have the fellowship the same. Do you agree? Or?
I do agree, and that's the thing with the big churches, the Calvary, which I mentioned. It was very good, very relational at first, but it just grows so big, and it's still a great church if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, and then for some people that might be more what they like anyway, and that might help them. I guess it's all what you like. Everyone likes something different. So, but there are good options here for you. So, going back to the subject of Dumaguete, is it a good place for expats? Well, what are some of the things that are not so good here?
Well, not so good. I mean, compared to America, it is a little bit harder, and even Filipinos know this. It can be a little bit harder to the process of things, you know, to get things done. Like, for example, getting your license can take days.
Yeah.
Even Filipinos know that. Getting a business permit can take days. But all of those things are okay, you know, because even though it takes a long time to do, but once it's done, it's done, and then other things are so much easier here.
Right. You know, another thing, people are looking to come out here and rent or even buy, but I guess it's a slight negative. It's because we have a high population of expats. I think it's driven the prices up a little bit over here, and I think especially with rentals. I've noticed that in the last few months or last year or so, that rentals have really started to move up. And I think it's because there's so many expats that have been moving over here, and there's not a lot available right now. So, you know, price, demand, and it's pushing everything up. So I think that's a little negative. But in saying that, comparing what you get out here compared with USA, it's still pretty cheap.
Well, the funny thing is, when I moved here, things were probably 10 times cheaper. And I do see things
cheap.
Going up very quickly.
Yeah, but you can still, I mean, for 20 to 30,000 pesos a month, so what? What, $360 to like $580 somewhere. Now, you still get a really nice place, and it'll be comfortable. Yeah. So yeah, lots of good reasons to come to Dumaguete.
Yes, there are. So many things we didn't even have time to talk about, but I mean, they're just...
Well, we've still got time.
You know.
What other things? Well, when you said that, what's on your mind?
People are so nice. They really are. And you will find genuine, happy people who really want to take an interest in it, partly because they have time to do it. You don't find that in other big cities in the Philippines because of the time issue. Right. But I think the personality of the Filipino is just so generous and genuine and raw, like honest. They do want to provide and help you and take care of you, and especially your wife. I mean, Filipino wives are really amazing, you know.
Well, in my experience, they are, and your experience, so
not always, of course. There are always some bad ones in there.
Yeah.
But I think relationships here are different for the time issue, and because of people have time, but they also just people are just more decent here. Many places.
Okay, another thing, and again, because things are popping in my head now, we're having this open conversation about, you know, is this a good place for expats? Another good thing about this particular place, Dumaguete, is it's such a great location for going to other places.
It is.
Like Cebu, which is the second biggest city in the Philippines, it's just a few hours away by bus. You can get there in 4 to 6 hours, or drive, or you can jump on a fast ferry and get there in 4 hours. And so it's really easy to get to the big city if you want to go shopping for a couple of days. Or if you just like going to different islands. We got Siquijor Island, just an hour and a half. Bohol, a couple of hours. And then going to the other side of the island and hitting places like Iloilo or something are easy access. Just everywhere's accessible from here.
It's a base. It's really a jumping off point.
It is a good base. So we have an airport here as well, so easy to go anywhere you want. You need to make a trip up to Manila, easy to get a flight, go there. So it is a good location for accessing other places.
And I think it's a good place to to live if you do want to go on tours and go to different places. And this is a really good base for that, because not only that, but it's a comfortable place with really good roads. I mean, they're starting to construct good roads.
Yeah.
You know, the diversion road, and the access is easy. You know, besides the airport, we have boats, we have good highways now. They're getting better.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, in summary, I guess we're saying that Dumaguete is a great place for expats.
Yeah.
Good for families, good for expats that want to come here, retire, that don't want to be in the big city and living that kind of life. There's beautiful places to go around here, a lot of nature, easy to access other islands, and great fellow expats over here that you can fellowship with. If you're a Christian, or whatever faith, it says, you know, it's not just Christians here. I mean, you may be of another faith, and there's plenty of other kinds of churches that you can go to if that's what you're into.
And can I mention one
yeah,
more
please.
thing? The one thing which I didn't mention is the value system. Well, I kind of did touch on it, but family values, even if you're not a Christian, but you want a more conservative family value, that base. And as I mentioned earlier, there's not really a lot of wokeism here, kind of those things, and it is a value system which still the old values which you're going to appreciate whether you're a Christian or not. You're going to really appreciate that, I believe.
No, yeah, well said. So guys, if you have any questions about Dumaguete or any comments, we'd love to hear from you. And if you are already in Dumaguete, drop by Ground Zero sometime.
Yeah, please do.
And come see us, preferably on a Wednesday, 9 o'clock. Join our Bible group.
Amen. Yeah.
Or reach out to us. We love meeting people.
Right.
And sometimes people send me an email and want to meet up for coffee, and we love to do that too. Love to meet new people.
Yeah. Even if you're not a Christian, right? We love to meet new people.
No, I'm not being exclusive to Christians. I have many friends that have different beliefs.
Yeah.
We don't force our belief upon anyone.
No.
But
No.
anyway, so that's pretty much it for today's video. So hope some of the things we said were helpful, and thank you so much for watching.
Okay.
God bless everybody, and we'll be talking to you soon.